Unleash the power of knowledge and connect with the heartbeat of the African diaspora. Download our African Diaspora News Channel app now on Google Play and Apple App Store. Stay informed with authentic and diverse perspectives, breaking news, and cultural insights. Immerse yourself in a community that celebrates unity, resilience, and progress. Experience the vibrancy of the diaspora at your fingertips. Don't miss out. Empower your perspective today. Search African Diaspora News Channel and join the conversation.
I want y'all to watch this video of a sister who was talking about the plight of Black Americans in California regarding the workforce. Check it out.
Other people of color are not willing to speak up for Black Americans whatsoever. The only time they speak up to help Black Americans is when they see Black Americans have an advantage that they don't have. Take affirmative action, for example. When they believed that Black Americans were getting into Ivy League students based off affirmative action, when that really wasn't the case. The only time that other people of color speak up is when they see Black Americans have an advantage that they don't have. Otherwise, they are silent. It also seems like there's an issue to keep Black Americans at entry-level positions as well, and to bully them so they have a harder time moving up in the ranks. Platforms like Indeed and LinkedIn need to do a better job at regulating if these companies are really hiring or not. Because what these companies are doing are they're using LinkedIn and Indeed as a social media tool. They're posting that they're hiring and doing all these paying for the promo, but it's really a marketing tool when they're really not hiring. It seems like LA or California is trying to push Black Americans out, and they're starting with the job industry.
So as y'all heard her say, she feels like California is trying to push Black Americans out, starting with the job market, if you will. Now, she also went on to say that only time people of color, now Black Americans, speak up in regards to what Black people are doing or got going on there is when they feel like they can benefit from that or feel like they're being left out. And she mentioned affirmative action, right? We know what the Asians did in regards to the affirmative action educational component, where they took it to the Supreme Court and they got rid of that. Now, in the longer version of the video, she referenced a case study that was done by the Los Angeles Black Worker Center that basically says, yes, Black people are not getting quality jobs and it's a form of discrimination, right? Well, there's a couple of things here. One thing, they didn't just start with the job market to push Black people out of California. They started with the housing market and everything else you can think of. But there's only, about less than 6% of Black people in California. Most Black people now live in the South, where we started from, right? Especially after slavery, if you will. And so, yeah, Black people cannot afford to live there. And so, yes, they are bringing in Hispanics or other immigrants to come in and do the work for a lot cheaper, right? Because Black Californians are like, no, I'm not going to be working for no $7.25, right? I'm going to need me, about 20, 25, 35, because that's what they said minimum wage should be, between $25 and $35 an hour, to even be able to just live decently, right? So yeah, they've been pushing Black people out, which is why we need reparations, because Black people should be able to live in California. I'm a Californian. I would love to go back, but I know I have to bust 50 hustles in order to just stay there, right? And it shouldn't be that way. There's people who are born and raised in California like myself that are like, you know what? I'm going to go somewhere else because I just cannot afford it. Most people who work in California, if you're not super wealthy or even a little bit wealthy, they have to combine a whole bunch of incomes to just make it work. The housing market is through the roof. The average price of a home in California is about $800,000. And I'm not talking about no mansion. This is a regular house. And, if you work in fast food, I think you're going to get about $22 an hour, but still, that's nothing. Everything is high there. Gas, food, everything you can think of is high in California. But yet Black people cannot afford to stay there, but they'll bring the immigrant over there. Yeah, they'll pay them a wage. But see, the thing about the immigrant, though, and this is what we really need to talk about, is they know how to practice group economics. Yeah, they'll go do a minimum wage job. And they'll do a whole bunch of them. They'll put it together and say, okay, great. Now we all about to start getting up out of this house. We're going to go buy another one. We're going to wash, rinse, repeat. See, they know how to do that. We once knew how to do that. And we need to learn how to do it again, right? So that we can stay in places like California. Let's buy the block like they do. Now, I'm not saying we should be all right with working minimum wage. We shouldn't be. But as she said in the longer version of the video, yeah, it's the quality jobs that we should get, especially when we are qualified. But we know, as she also said too, they do a lot of gatekeeping, and a lot of times it's the people that they hire and that come from other countries that do the gatekeeping. Oh no, we're not hiring. I did a story about a McDonald's in California where they said it was all Hispanics there and no black people. Because, you know, California raised the minimum wage as fast food. I think it's like $22 an hour or something like that. Nevertheless, there's like, no, we're not hiring. But there's a sign outside that says that they were hiring. So they do a lot of gatekeeping. But again, black people, let's start practicing group economics. Let's build our stuff till we get to the point where we're not begging them to hire us. We can hire our own. Because as I always say, go to any of the other people of color stores, whether it's Hispanic, Asian, Arab, or whatever, you're not going to see no black people working there. If you do, it's rare. They're going to have their people working there. And if you walk your black self in there and say, hey, I'm looking for a job, they're going to say, we're not hiring. And they'll turn around and hire somebody that look just like them because that's what they're supposed to do. However, they set shop up in our neighborhood and we give them money when we should be like, no, I'm sorry. You won't hire us. You don't put money back into the community. You can't have our money. In fact, we're going to wait and we're going to build our own store or whatever it is there. So yes, I agree with that, sister. Something needs to be done. But more importantly, we need to do it ourselves. And yes, we want our reparations too. So anyway, y'all tell me what you think of that. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetra Kaye Show, here on YouTube. Peace.